Why I make these courses. There was a time when I sat in the office of a counselor trying to explain a kind of pain that didn't fit inside words. I talked about abuse, about being the black sheep of my family, about years inside an abusive marriage with a narcissist, and losing pieces of myself I didn't know how to get back, and the kind of loneliness that leaves you hollow, the heartbreak that comes after years of being unseen. I talked about the nights I didn't want to be here anymore, the moments I planned to end my life because the pain of being unseen and misunderstood felt unbearable. I talked about the heartbreak of estrangement, the silence of my own children, and the ache that never really goes away. They listened, but they didn't understand. So I tried another counselor and another. And every time I watched them tilt their head, take notes, and say, "Tell me more about that." I watched their eyes glaze over, not out of cruelty, but because they just didn't get it. I went to groups, meetings, circles, and every time I opened my mouth, it felt like speaking another language. Still, no one seemed to get it. One day, I just stopped talking. I stopped trying to explain the ache that had no language. I had nothing left to say because no one got it, because they'd never been there. They'd never lived it. They didn't know what it took to rebuild yourself from ruins. And I realized sitting across from someone who's never walked the road you're on isn't just unhelpful, it's expensive, exhausting, and it can delay real healing. Because healing doesn't happen in rooms where you feel misunderstood. It happens when someone looks at your pain and says, "I've been there too." That's why I make these courses. They're for the ones who are done talking, who've tried counseling, groups, and advice and still feel unseen. The ones who've told their story 1,000 times and still feel misunderstood. They're for the ones sitting in the dark wondering if anyone really understands what it's like to live with this kind of pain. Each course feels more like a quiet coaching session, a place where you're guided to breathe again, to think differently about what happened, and to gently rebuild the parts of you that life broke open. You don't need to explain anymore. You don't need to prove your pain. You don't need to translate your grief. These courses are my way of reaching out and saying, "I've been there, I see you, and I get it," in the way only someone who's lived it can.